Hey everyone, it's Jessica and I'm back with another layout for the Mad About Mini Paper Pad series, which happens every third Saturday of the month. And today I am using this mini paper pad by the Summer Adventure Collection by Echo Park. And I have a bunch of scraps left in this collection in the paper pad, so I'm just going to use those up. I actually saw this sketch, which I'll pop on the screen here for you. There's the sketch on the bottom right, and I am going to use that for my layout design today, along with my Big Shot machine and these dies by Elle Studio that are in this tag shape. And I am just cutting a bunch of these out of all of my scraps from this paper pad, so I'm going to use up all of those scraps that I have laying there from previous layouts, and then I'm going to use a couple other of these sheets of paper in here as well. So I'm kind of running the dies off of my paper. I know it's off my frame a little bit, but you guys get the idea. And I use my multi-purpose platform by Stampin' Up, which is a magnetic platform along with a magic mat. And then I use just one of the clear plates that came with my Big Shot, and then I do shim it with a couple pieces of just cardstock on top, because I find with the magic mat it's a little bit thinner than my clear plates are, so I actually use a couple pieces of cardstock just as a shim to make it a little bit tighter. So here you can see I've cut out a lot of these little tags. I've just cut out the end of them, and I'm just going to start gluing everything down. I've matted my photos with a couple of those papers, and then with the scraps that I had left of those papers, I am going to, or I did, cut down little tags as well. So these are some photos of a hiking trail that we went on whenever we were camping, and it has this beautiful lookout at the end of it with this little bridge. It's like a little overlook of the water. I know it looks kind of swampy. This little area that it overlooks is really grown up with lily pads and things like that, so it is a little swampy. It used to be all water there a long time ago, but it's really grown up. But sometimes they do run a machine through there to clear out the lily pads, which is kind of cool to watch. So yeah, we just got some photos. I was super duper pregnant at this point. These photos were taken from, I think it was July, if I remember right. Or yeah, July, I think. And yeah, I was really pregnant at that point, but I wasn't due until November, so I had a long ways to go. But super fun little walk that we had. My boys just love to go hiking and exploring in the woods. So all I'm doing here on this layout is I'm just layering up these tags like it had on the sketch, and I am just kind of popping some down in between and on top of each other, just layering them up and staggering them so that they have different heights, and they're I cut a couple different sizes as well in the different patterns so that I could make for good layering. And I've made sure that I use I have, I think, 4 or 5 big ones. I made sure that I staggered those amongst themselves in the colors and where they are in the layout. So I have one on the top there, one orange one on the left side, and then I think I put 1 or 2 big ones on the bottom and then another on the right side. So I did stagger them so all my big ones weren't in one place. Then I'm just going to start tucking them in and adhering them down. At some point in this layout, my ATG gun actually runs out of tape, and I didn't feel like refilling it on camera or stopping the layout. I had a really good creative process going, and my boys were busy with their dad at the farm, and they were in the garden at the time, so I really wanted to make good use of my time, so I ended up just grabbing my Thermoweb tape runner that's laying here in front of me as well. So I kind of migrate between the two of them, and that works fine for me. I like them both equally as well, or I love them both as much as each other, so it's fine. I just kind of use whatever's in front of me. So there you can see is where I ran out of tape, but it's okay. I refilled it now and it's all good to go. But yeah, so I'm just going to continue layering all of these tags up, sticking all of them down, and then I'm just going to pop some embellishments on here. I'm not going to embellish this too much because there's really not a whole lot that I have to do to this. With all these tags on here, I felt that that's enough for interest and design, so I don't really need to add a lot of heavy embellishing to take away from that in my photos. So obviously I want my photos to be the focal point, as of course that's why we're making our scrapbook pages. We want to document all these fun memories. So there I just trimmed off the edges of my tags that were overhanging, and I did some machine stitching as well. So I did, on the sketch, it looked like there was some little dotted lines, which I took to be stitching. So that's exactly what I did. I followed the sketch pretty closely and I stuck with that and did those machine stitches just to make it look just like the design was. And then I just cut a whole bunch of these little design features for the tops of my tags, and I glued them down just with my Nouveau glue, and I did use my tweezers there as well to hold on to them because they are kind of small, and it just makes it a little bit easier to place them down on the tops of my tags. So here's my 4 photos that I'm using. I've got all of my boys in my photos and myself. I can't believe I got all of us on one layout and in several photos on here as well. I didn't think I would get that many photos on, and I was wondering if I was going to struggle with that, but usually my layouts consist of like 1 or 2 photos because I really like the design elements, but I was really impressed that I was able to get 4 photos onto this, and the sketch only called for 2. So mine are a little bit bigger too. The sketch had them little squares, but my photos are a little bit bigger than that. So I'm just pulling out some embellishments here. I've pulled out a title piece. It's an acrylic piece by Colorbok Designs, and it says Adventures Await, which I absolutely love, and I love the color of it. It just matched this layout perfectly, and I've been waiting to use it on the perfect layout, so this is just perfect and I love it. And then I've pulled out some embellishments by the Summer Adventure Kit by Echo Park, and also the Creekside collection by One Canoe Two. I had this in my stash for quite a while. Actually, one of my scrappy friends had sent this stuff to me, so I'm really glad that I'm getting to use this stuff. And I already had some bits and pieces, and she sent me all these chipboards that went with all of the stuff that I already had from this collection, so this just worked out perfectly for me. And I'm just going to pull out a couple die cuts. I'm not going to overwhelm this layout. And actually, I think I only I don't even know if I use any of them. I pulled them out, but I don't think I actually used them. I think I grabbed a couple other things in their place, but I'm gonna actually thread some of this baker's twine through here in this orange and white stripe, which is just perfect. It matches the rest of the layout, and I just love these little pops of orange in this layout. It's just so beautiful, and I love these colors together. And I love that I'm getting to use these collections too, because I've had this in my stash for quite some time, so it feels really good to actually be using my stuff. So I'm just threading this through, and I'm just tying little bows. The sketch had little bow designs. I don't usually tie them. I usually just kind of leave them and kind of put the tails somewhere, but I really liked the sketch design and how they were tied, so I decided to tie mine in little bows too. And then later on in this layout, you'll see me go back through with some Nouveau glue, and I'll stick the tails down exactly where I want them to be. So I have added a little take a walk bit from Vicky Bouton there, and then I'm trying to make some of these embellishments work, but some of them are just way too big and too wordy. I don't want to add too many words to this layout. I'm trying to just dig through here and honestly, I'm trying to find some animal critters, but I didn't really feel like digging through the rest of my stash at this point. It was going on 8:30 at night. I wanted to just get this finished up and go to the farm and see what my boys were doing. And our house is actually, the house that we live in now is about a mile away from our farm. So I wanted to go check on them and see what they were doing and go pick them up. So I wanted to get this all done. I just glued this acrylic piece down for my title, and I'm pulling out this sticker sheet from one of my Not Just for Boys Kit Club kits. And this is actually from Carta. It's a sticker book from the Outdoor Adventures collection. So I found quite a few embellishments in there to use that weren't wordy, like this cute little raccoon and that little kind of Smokey the Bear ranger there that you see at the top. And I'm just tucking in just a couple little things here. And then I think I'm going to pull out some sequins and add those onto this layout just for some extra something. And on the sketch design, it actually had some splatters, it looked like. So I'm just going to put sequins in there instead. So I was still looking for some little critters and things that I could add, but I didn't really find too much in my stash that I had out. Again, I didn't really feel like digging for anything additional. That little pin that you see there, it was an actual pin. I actually just took my wire cutters and cut the back off of it so that it would lay flat in my book, and I used some glue dots to attach. And those were sent to me by my scrappy friend too. So thank you for scrappy friends that are absolutely amazing and wonderful and support us all the time. So I did find this little fox in my stash that I had hanging here on my rack, so I got to use that up. It was hanging originally, but I added it to my little extra embellishments here. So he was the last one of that pack, so I just added in with my camping embellishments a while back, and same with that little watering can. These are just embellishments that I had cut apart from sticker sheets or got from my scrappy friend, or leftovers from other collections that it was just, you know, one or two of them, so I just threw them in this little sleeve to keep them all together because they're all camping themed. So I just like to dig through them every once in a while and see what I can pull out and find. So I added that little hiking boot up top, and of course you see my little compass and my leaves on there already from the chipboard sheet, so everything's good there. So now is a good time to remind you guys to make sure you pop down below in my description. I'm going to list everyone playing along with this series today, so you can follow their videos as well and see what beautiful designs that they created too. So there's quite a few of us that usually do this every month. I know these summer months get really, really busy, so there may not be as many these couple months, but it does vary from month to month, and we get lots of people creating. So lots of beautiful inspiration, and I love just watching all their videos whenever I get a moment so that I can catch up on their beautiful designs. So here I am just adding some white splatters with some Dylusions white linen ink or paint, and I have just watered it down with my paintbrush and flicked it on. As you can see, I got quite a big one on that top right, but I really actually like the way that it looks, so I didn't mind it at all. And here you see me spilling a whole bunch of sequins because I tend to open them upside down. I do this all the time, and I don't know why I do it, but I do it all the time. And these are some Catherine Polar sequins. I was going to use the one mix that I had out. I ended up using a different one. This one's called Marrakesh. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. Marrakesh? Marrakesh. I'm not sure. I think that's how I say it. It's probably pronounced completely different, but I don't have an accent or anything, so maybe it's Spanish? I'm not sure. Maybe somebody can fill me in on that. So here I'm just adding a whole bunch of sequins to this layout. I thought these colors just matched these colors in this collection absolutely perfectly. So I'm just sticking down a whole bunch using my Nuvo glue and my sequin tool that I got from Amazon. So super easy and fun. Here is the finished layout. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this process. Again, pop down below in the description to all the other creators playing along today and watch their videos as well. Give them a little bit of love, like, comment, all the fun things. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.